Okay, so now let's talk of getting into these opportunities, applying for them, and all that. What are the first on scholarship? What are the common requirements that a student needs to meet to be able to access these opportunities?
Okay. First of all, when you are looking at the opportunities, it's good to read information about the opportunities very well. Okay. So most of the mistakes we make is not or assuming some things or not finding out actually what is it. So read the application requirements, whether you meet those requirements. Okay, so read then most of the requirements are for scholarships are centered around the academic requirements, your academic qualifications. Okay, is the scholarship requesting for a 2-1? Is it requesting for a 2-2? Just know the minimum academic requirements. Then documentation. What documents are you expected to provide? To prove that you meet the requirements. Then eligibility. Some scholarships are specific to. In fact, most scholarships have countries or list of countries, or even within a country. Maybe states or regions that they apply to. So just know,
courses of study as well.
Courses of study, that is what you had. Maybe if it's a master's scholarship, what course did you do in your undergraduate to be able to meet up with that? Okay. Then, so a lot of other requirements. So just try and, like in my own case, the scholarship I got was a PTDF scholarship, Petroleum Technology Development Fund. Yeah. It was actually a fund created by the federal government many years ago. So as at that time, the problem was that there were shortage of local manpower for the Nigerian oil industry. Okay. So the for the expertise was mainly based on that is foreigners dominated the core professionals. Okay. So that's why the fund was created, to give Nigerians that leverage to be able to take over or be able to partake in those, so that would not just be the junior cadre of this. So that was why it was created, and part of the requirements was your academic qualification. You had to submit your transcript. Okay.
Very crucial.
Then the other ones was to prove that you are a Nigerian, and not just that you are a Nigerian. Where in Nigeria are you from? So you need local government identification, letter from maybe a court affidavit, and so many other things. So every scholarship is not the same. It's not the same. So but generally, you will need your transcript if it's a master's scholarship. Yeah. Then there are some scholarships require that you must have admission already. So you need your admission letter to be.
But in your case, did you have admission before you got?
No, I didn't have admission. Okay. So I didn't have admission before
You got the scholarship first.
I got the scholarship first,
and then you went ahead for admission.
I went to apply to the university. Okay, so then the university sometimes they have some requirements for admission, or if it's the university that is offering you scholarships, they have some requirements. So those requirements are mainly your transcript. And sometimes English language.
Let's talk about that.
English language is a bit tricky, and is dependent on the countries and the universities. Okay, so generally for most UK universities, although sometimes they state it that you need IELTS, you need proof of English language. So you need to look at the information and look at what country are you from. Okay, if you are from an English-speaking country in Africa, chances are that you don't need English test to study in the UK university. So there is something you need to find out from the university. You can call up the university to find out, do you require that you were taught in English? Like in my own case, I didn't do any English test. Okay. So I found out, that I can get a letter from any of my lecturers proving that I was taught in English language. And in Nigeria, all our education is in English.
in
English is
yeah.
our official language, and I don't think it makes sense that you've done your primary, secondary, university education in English,
Yeah.
and someone is still telling you to do a test before you can study for masters in English. I don't think
Yeah.
it makes sense. So, but you know, the requirements are based on each university. So you need to find out from the university. So if it's a core requirement, then you need to do the test.
Okay. Because that is a very common question that people ask
Yes.
about if they really need to take English test before they can apply for scholarship. And the takeaway there is that it depends on the country you are going to,
Yes.
and that you see that as a requirement does not necessarily mean that you have to provide it.
Yes.
Sometimes what it means is that you need to prove
Yes.
that you were taught in English
Yes.
most of your education.
Yes.
And
some of them may tell you, okay, when you come there, you write it. And most of the time, the test, once you've done basic English in Nigeria, up to primary or secondary school, you can pass the test. The tests are mainly for maybe Chinese, that English is not their official language, or people that English is not their official language. They are just learning basic English.
Okay. All right.